of the game being played out on the projector on the football pitch down there. Huge cheer for the home athletes Singapore. We mentioned the success they've had for such a small nation in terms of population size. It's only second in the medal table. It really is a wonderful achievement.
Let's not forget the first of these SEA Games. They topped the list overall, ultimately by plenty were expecting that. It was fantastic for Singapore to hang on to second in the medal table. Of course, they get the most amount of medals overall, but were outgolded, if you will, by the ties. 747 athletes from the host nation, and quite brilliant over the past fortnight here.
It's just a wonderful place to be around. 50 years of independence, the Golden Jubilee year, the time that the nations welcomed the whole region to party at the SEA Games. Everybody smiling, joy around. Brand new sports venues, you might as well think that we walked into the stadium and how great everything looked. They really have put on a splendid games in every sense, not just on these sporting fields.
Well, hosting these games certainly is the best out of Singapore. 25 games records broken by their athletes, 29 national records, 75 PBs no less, swimmers, the whole gamut really of sports here in Singapore. 6 sports in all, over 400 gold medals awarded over the past 2 weeks.
Well, still they stream into the stadium. As we look at the athletes, you know, sit down on the far side, on the west stand. We'll see the athletes return later in the show as well. We're going to learn a little bit about Singapore's history. We'll see a professional performance too from Malaysia, which is the flag on the left-hand side, the host of the next Southeast Asian Games, and the neighbour from the north. Not too far away to jump your straight. Northern part of Malaysia.
I shot just a few moments ago with the Myanmar area. There'll be a few legs like that in the National Stadium last night. The footballers final held by the ties in the football final. Fantastic performance from Myanmar, who hosted these games last time out.
It's always much more than a formal occasion, the closing ceremony of any major games. Getting that impression here. It's roughly bung together in their nationalities, but we see lots of different athletes, Singapore coming out where the grabs. Just imagine that every single one of their athletes will look to parade in front of the home crowd tonight. Very, very close to Singapore National Stadium. This is beautiful performance as the athletes
As we know, Singapore hosted this event 3 times in the years, but certainly special this year, because it is the 50th anniversary and celebration of independence. So these athletes are writing their names very indelibly into the history books.
Singaporeans first got to independent nation
inside Singapore's national stadium.
As you can see from the parade of athletes and everybody present, the great diverse ethnicity of this city is one of its many strengths. Such a melting pot of cultures, people, cultures and opinions has made it such an interesting 12 days we've seen so far. Ceremony, the closure of the games. Games will be closed, by the way, by the President himself. And then we'll go on to the cultural performances.
And a reminder, as if it were needed, of just how far the SEA Games have come.
These thousands of volunteers, the backbone of the Games, have worked tirelessly throughout the past 12 days. Let's show them our unanimous support.
While the athletes work hard to do their countries proud, we should always remember the volunteers, Team Nila. No matter how hard the athletes train, SEA Games can only be a success with the volunteers. Thank you very much.
Volunteering actually builds one character. You get to work with different kind of people. Most of us end up being more than just a hi-bye friend. It's friends that we actually would hang out with. That's the thing that makes this SEA Games a special one for me.
To volunteer is to serve. We have been served a lot of times, and now it's our turn to return this service and to make this SEA Games a very successful one.
Age is no barrier. As long as I'm healthy, physically fit and mentally alert, I can do volunteer service to the society.
Without them, we won't be where we are. Because of them, that is why we are able to be performing our best in our competitions. So thank you, volunteers.
Please welcome the volunteers of the 28th Southeast Asian Games. These 500 people represent more than 17,000 volunteers who have contributed to the success of the Games.
As we start rehearsing every scene, the words to everything, we realize that the crowd is listening, and then the tears fall down on your face at exactly the right place, as the people start to stand up in the aisle. You can hear the sound of violence.
Well, forget all the medals, forget all the ceremonies, forget the sport. These are the thousands and thousands of smiley faces, the helpful nature of everybody that's welcomed each and every person interested in sport in Southeast Asia to these games in Singapore.
Yeah, they call themselves Team Nila after the mascot of these SEA Games.
Thank you, Team Nila. Terima kasih, Team Nila. Selamat, Team Nila.
Hi, we're Team Singapore Rugby. And we'd like to say a big thank you to the volunteers and extend a bigger thank you to Team Nila.
Thank you, Team Nila. Thank you, Team Nila.
Thank you, Team Nila.
We would like to say thank you to
Team Nila.
So indeed, over 17,000 volunteers helping spectators at event venues, web journalists, media relations, photographers, every conceivable service provided by these wonderful and generous volunteers.
End up where they should, caught up a life
indeed, Singapore, this city-state, has established something of a precedent with the hosting of the Youth Olympics as recently as 5 years ago. In many ways, a dress rehearsal for the SEA Games 2050.
This has been an extraordinary SEA Games, and everything that we've experienced over the last 2 weeks has been made possible because of the contributions and hard work of all our Team Nila volunteers. So from the bottom of our hearts, I want to say a very big thank you to each and every volunteer. You have made this SEA Games special. We could not have done it without you.
Once again, a big thank you to all the volunteers for your dedication and for contributing to the success of the Games. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ng Se Myang, International Olympic Committee member and chairman of the IOC Finance Commission, on behalf of Mr. Thomas Bach, president of the International Olympic Committee, will present the IOC President's Trophy to Mr. Lawrence Wong, Chairman, Singapore Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee, and also to Mr. Tan Chuan Jin, President of the SEA Games Federation and President of the Singapore National Olympic Council. The IOC is honoring Mr. Lawrence Wong for a successful 28th SEA Games in Singapore. The Singapore Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee created an extraordinary, welcoming and safe games for our athletes in Southeast Asia. This award symbolizes IOC's appreciation to the government and people of Singapore for hosting a memorable 28th Southeast Asia Games. The IOC is also honoring Mr. Tan Chuan Jin for Singapore's leadership of the SEA Games Federation, for his active involvement in steering the federation and for making marked progress in several key missions to keep the SEA Games relevant and an important games in our region. The Federation has successfully mustered the youth of the region together at the Games to celebrate friendship, harmony, and the spirit of Olympism. This award symbolizes IOC's appreciation to all countries of the SEA Games Federation for participating in the SEA Games. Mr. Ng Ser Miang, please.
Đây, mình đang thu đây này. Kiểu gì xong trận mình phải
Thank you very much, Mr. Ng Ser Miang. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now invite Mr. Tan Chuan Jin to deliver his speech.
President Tony Tan, Your Royal Highnesses, Excellencies, members of the IOC and Southeast Asian Games Federation, ladies and gentlemen, friends. We are reaching the end of the 28th SEA Games. On behalf of the SEA Games Federation, I would like to thank Singapore and all Singaporeans for hosting an extraordinary SEA Games. Thank you very much. These games will be a memorable one for many of us for years to come. It has been made possible by all the countries in the region. It was made special because of you, the athletes on the stage, the officials and volunteers behind the scenes, and all of you spectators in the stands. During the games, we often only see what happens on the competition arenas, and that can be over as quickly as a matter of seconds, like in the 100 meter sprint. We also often only remember the triumph, those who made the podium, and not those who come just shy of a medal. But behind all of these lie a common trait: months and years of hard work and sacrifice. There is no athlete who is not proud of representing his or her country, and no team which does not set out to do its best. We see the same in the coaches, trainers, support staff, family and friends who have all given their all. Remember this as we cheer them on. Athletes and officials, you have all been proud ambassadors of your country. Our athletes inspire us not just with the records and their medals, but also with their spirit. We watch with admiration 11-year-old U Shun Leymore from Myanmar when she fearlessly competed against her older counterparts in the swimming pool. We applauded with respect Singapore's Ashley Liu for pausing to wait for other runners when they took a wrong turn in the marathon. These games would not have been possible without the dedication of the nearly 17,000 individuals from Team Nila, who have made all of us feel welcome. Thank you very much. We smiled at 87-year-old Joseph Tan, who supported as a volunteer photographer. We beamed with pride at Amin bin Rosli, who did not let his autism get in the way of fulfilling his role as a stretcher bearer and performer during the opening ceremony. Along with the security personnel, cleaners, and so many who worked round the clock to enable the games to go on, thank you all for your tireless dedication and hard work. And of course, to all the fans, what would these games be without all of you? You cheered your heart out and stomped your feet sore. It was near hysteria at many of the events, and we loved it. We are glad to see so many of our Southeast Asian friends here in Singapore turning out in droves to support their home nations. From my Facebook, Tak Yong shared how he saw Thai fans holding up the word friend along with the Thai and Indonesian flags during the football semi-finals. Christopher, who was an usher at squash, saw many athletes meeting up with old fighting mates and high-fiving and hugging each other. He shared, so nice and heartwarming. What I saw was friendship first, competition second. Great. Melissa shared that Malaysian hockey fan supporters, even as they were celebrating their team's win over Singapore, did not neglect to cheer and say, "Good job, Singapore," holding a Singapore scarf in one hand and a Malaysian flag in the other. These are the people and events that made the games. This is what ASEAN is all about. During the games, an earthquake struck Mount Kinabalu in Sabah. A number of lives were lost. 9 came from Tanjong Katong Primary School, but it was not just Singapore who faced loss. Other countries, including our neighbours, were also affected. Thank you to so many of our athletes who visited the school to pay their respects and tribute, even while competitions were still on. While we are devastated at the loss, there's also much to be inspired by the way the students and teachers lived. I would like to end by reading from the blog put up by the teachers and students. This was their last post before the earthquake. Their blog was entitled, "It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." Though it was an exhausting hike to Pendant Hut, step by step, inch by inch, we all made it up. It wasn't easy, but they all succeeded getting up there. How did they make it up? The answer? Each other. They encouraged each other. They helped their friends by retrieving water bottles from their bags when it was hard to reach. They checked in with their friends by asking, "How are you? Are you okay?" They were effective. They pressed on. They utilized each other to give them strength. Eventually, they reached Pendant Hut together. This is the spirit of endeavor, of never giving up. This is also the spirit of teamwork and friendship, where together we are strong. And these are the same qualities that we have witnessed and celebrated throughout the 28th SEA Games. Let us continue to keep this spirit burning in us and build closer ties in kinship as we progress together as a region. On behalf of all of us here in Singapore, we say thank you for this truly wonderful experience. I wish you all a safe journey home and see you all in Malaysia in 2017. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tan Chuan Jin. May we now invite President Tony Tan to declare the Games closed.
I declare the Southeast Asian Games closed. I call upon the youth of Southeast Asia to assemble 2 years from now in Malaysia. To celebrate the 29th edition of the Games.
Eye of the storm, I'm standing still against the tide. I'm sailing, sailing at the end of the day. Giants will fall, mountains will crumble. It's always darkest before the dawn. So hard is a flag but a cloth to wrap my spirit. What is a race but a dance with my friends through the fire? When everything else fades on the sea. What is a dream but a childhood memory? Look to your heart. Look to your heart. The flare of a gun. There's a spark in the air, echoing an anthem. 100 doubts, but not one regret. So what is a flag but a cloth to wrap my spirit? What is a race but a dance with my friends through the fire? When everything else fades away.
his original composition, Still. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host nation of the 29th Southeast Asian Games in 2017, Malaysia. Representing the host nation, we are honored to have His Royal Highness Prince Imran, President of the Olympic Council of Malaysia and incoming President of the Southeast Asian Games Federation, and the Honorable Mr. Khairi Jamaluddin, Minister for Youth and Sports and Chairman of the 29th Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee.
Gemuruh jiwa, semangat membara, dari puncak ingin ke angkasa, berkarungkan tak berterlibat, menyala jauh dari yang biasa. Gemuruh jiwa, semangat membara, dari puncak ingin ke angkasa.
May we now invite Mr. Tan Chuan Jin to hand over the flag to His Royal Highness Prince Imran, who will then hand it over to the Honorable Mr. Khairi Jamaluddin. Please rise for the Malaysian National Anthem. Thank you, Mr. Tan Chuan Jin, His Royal Highness Prince Imran, Mr. Lawrence Wong, and the Honorable Mr. Khairi Jamaluddin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy a performance by the host country of the 29th Southeast Asian Games, Malaysia.
So we're about to see a performance named Diversity in Motion. Majmuk Dalam Gerak. It's in 3 parts, beginning with light, shadow, and birth, the most ancestral of belief. How one learns to see through the light breaking the cocoon to breathe life and guiding life to fruition, bringing creativity into the light.
Bahaya menanti mesti berani tercari-cari jati diri, lautku kuasai gunungku taklukkan.
Theme for part 2, building foundations, seeking strength in numbers, understanding the place we come from and how we come to be where we are today. Living but remembering yesterday, moving in the moment and swept up by the things to come towards a better tomorrow, a fitting metaphor for the upcoming SEA Games. Celebrating aesthetics of athleticism now.
Part 3, United. Kesatuan in Malaysian and uniting belief, displaying the pride of a nation, most importantly focusing creativity and bringing joy from it. The voice of many a nation which is still growing and struggling, still learning, a nation never too proud to ask. Never too far from the future she desires, yet very close to the promise of a very much better life ahead. Malaysia, a nation of many expressions, celebrating diversity today, never divided and forever united. So Malaysia awaits in 2017 for the 29th Southeast Asian Games.
Thank you, Malaysia, for that inspiring performance. A stamp is a memory. Images of Singapore, past and present. Stamps celebrate our shared history. A stamp is a connection, keeping in touch with friends, family, the joy of reading a letter written with love. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy our parade of stamps. See you at the next Southeast Asian Games. Till then, keep in touch. Love, Singapore.
And so ends the Malaysian performance. Final chance to celebrate Singapore, its 50 years of independence, and of course 60 years of stamps. Stamp collecting, a very, very popular pastime in this part of the world. And we're going to take a look at Singaporean history, and certainly its independent history over the last half of a century, through the medium of stamps. So 1949, some of Singapore's earliest stamps. This particular collection celebrates the Universal Postal Union, the one that depicts Greek gods. Stamps are under both the Singaporean and the Malaysian collection. Remember, Singapore's a British Crown colony from 1946 all the way through 1959. It then gained total independence in 1965, and these particular stamps offer a glimpse into Singapore's rich historical past.
The slow process of independence was established in the early 1960s. The dissolving of Malaya, replaced by the Federation of Malaya, and indeed, by 1965, Singapore had become fully independent. Stamps from the 1960s commemorate Singapore's first anniversary and feature members of the Singapore workforce against a backdrop of developing buildings. It was then really that the foundations were laid for the cultural and economic hub that Singapore is today.
Well, also often in Singapore we're seeing immediate links from past to future to present. This collection now is all the way back from as recent as 2006. The stamps depicting trades of yesteryear, the barber, the sandal maker and the sinsay. Many a tradition, of course, which have been replaced by the rich financial service-based economy which Singapore enjoys nowadays.
(1960) and a collection of stamps featuring the Singapore flag. Singapore entered the 60s with its own national anthem, state crest and flag for the first time. And this stamp celebrates the Singapore national flag.
On to Changi Airport now. The world famous Changi Airport opened in the early 80s, now one of the busiest in the world, often rated one of the best in the world as well. This stamp all the way back from 1981 when the airport first came into operation.
Indeed, it's been voted world's best airport the last 3 years. If you're going to be delayed anywhere, it might as well be Changi. (1966), and this stamp commemorates Singapore's first anniversary and features members of the Singapore workforce against the backdrop of developing buildings.
And at a time that brought much work and migration to the region and helped create this fantastic multi-ethnic and wonderful multicultural society that Singapore is today. Well, a tribute to uniform groups. That was a collection that we're seeing right now from 2007. Singapore modernising all the time in a wonderful fusion of cultures, but it's always retained its tradition. The first ever airline to operate the largest passenger aircraft in the world was Singapore Airlines. They remain fiercely proud of that feat. That explains the giant aircraft flying into the arena at the moment. The Stamp On show, back to 1993, celebrating the last time we had the SEA Games here, 22 years ago, the third time that Singapore had hosted the Games prior to these here in 2015.
50 golds then for Singapore, a tally on which they've improved massively in 2015.
Back to 1988, Stamps here, celebrating a peculiar curiosity of Singapore, the public information advertisements you see on public transport and around the city-state. This celebrates the 10th anniversary of the National Courtesy Campaign, launched in 1979, all hoping for a more civil society.
...1971, and the series here features Singapore's much celebrated religious festivals. Once again, a reminder of the earlier traditions of Singapore and a celebration of the Universal Postal Union, depicting Greek gods. The stamps are under the Singapore and Malaya collection here.
So back to the beginning, all stamps on show. One you can see there, one of the oldest stamps from 1955, the reigning monarch Queen Elizabeth at the time, and the iconic statue of Sir Stamford Raffles, the founder of Singapore.
And the ideal juxtaposition of ancient and the ultra-modern. A reminder of the series of stamps depicting ships from the past, such as Chinese Junker sailboats and the A380, which is whizzing around the National Stadium here.
They get the sense of a real atmosphere of nostalgia around the stadium at the minute. Everybody's got their phones, their cameras out, videoing the moment, remembering things, young and old are here. This is real coming of age year for the nation. The Lion city-state enjoying their look back in time.
Ancient sailboats, a nod to the current situation with Singapore and its internationally renowned port, the world's second busiest terminal for cruise ships too. Over 32 million tons of shipping came through the port of Singapore in 2013.
Well, 5.5 million people now live in Singapore. It's a long way from when Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles first arrived. And it all started with that port, as you were saying there, Andy. A trading post in Southeast Asia has become one of the world's most important and valued financial centres. O'Neill's back, the mascot's back, and the show is about to continue. About to hand you back to our hosts for the evening, Enlai, Sharon and Nikki.
But the night is young and so are most of you, so let's get going. What do you say, huh?
The celebrations is not over yet.
Yes, all the way from Holland, we have world-renowned DJ Ferry Corsten in the stadium tonight.
But first of all, can I just say, the past 12 days have been awesome.
We couldn't have done it without the support of each and every one of you here. You and you and you and you.
Yes, and you. A very special thanks to all our volunteers and the athletes.
Absolutely, so this is your moment to shine. I'd like to ask all the athletes and the volunteers over in the south sector to come on down to the field of play so we can get this party started, okay? Come on down, bring your whistles with you, they're attached to your seats. Come and join us. South sector, gates are opening. Come party!
Hey Neela, and for the rest of you guys in the east, west, north sectors, continue to party wherever you are, okay? Party on!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's
time to party!
Time to party indeed. It has been a party for the last 12 days. Yet another wonderful firework display lights up the sky in the Lion City here in Singapore. 30 odd sports, 400 odd events, 4,500 athletes. This has been a show that we will never forget in Singapore. So as the night sky lights up, it's party time here in the National Stadium. And what a party we've had. Second position in the medal table for the host, Thailand the overall winners. So much to remember. And of course, we'll do it all again in 2 years' time in Malaysia 2017. They never fail to put on a show. The fourth time that Singapore's welcomed the region and all of its athletes to celebrate the Singapore SEA Games. The last time 22 years ago, and they'll have missed coming here over the past 2 decades. A super show, so much top sport, and of course plenty of memories both on and off the pitch for everybody to take home. So many special memories over the last 12 days. Andy, do you have a favourite one?
Well, it was always going to be interesting to see how Schooling could respond. All the pressure was on him. He was on the posters. He was written about in the newspapers. And he delivered with that extraordinary gold medal haul. And again, he did it when he was just 19. Phenomenal. I think we mentioned it earlier, it was his birthday today, just turned 20, and he has such a bright future ahead of him. There have almost been too many individual heroics to mention, but the sporting success has gone hand in hand with the show, as we can see. A phenomenal scene erupting around us here at the National Stadium. A spectacular SEA Games in Singapore.
Well, you mentioned Joseph Schooling, a 20th birthday party tonight. It's a pretty special one to have, a unique memory for him. What's been an evening of celebration and friendship, and of course, a celebration of diversity over the past 12 days. So Ferry Corsten is here. The party will continue long into the night, I'm sure. All the way from the Netherlands, I'm told. As you can see, volunteers, athletes, everybody involved alike, all enjoying themselves. Very well deserved. All the hard work that has been put in over the past 12 days, and for a few years before that as well. This National Stadium has been a brilliant host. Each and every venue more than up to scratch. We mentioned the volunteers, their smiley welcome, all the work that everybody's put in. It's all been gratefully received, and as you can see, the memories will be saved forever. Well, as well, the games, we've had the tourist boost, people flying in and out from all across Southeast Asia. Singapore inviting the rest of the region to join its Golden Jubilee celebrations.
And proof also, Rob, as if it were needed over the last 2 weeks here, that Singapore surely has the potential to host global events. This spectacular facility, the Sports Hub and the National Stadium, which were built, no expense spared for these SEA Games. The people could make it happen, the facilities are in place, and you really can see Singapore on a global sporting stage. A fitting party really to end all parties in Singapore, and their phenomenal performance. Remember those 42 medals in swimming, 23 of them gold. Joseph Schooling and Hua Zhengwen winning a medal in every event they competed in. 25 games records and those 29 national records. Synchronized swimming, won a first gold. Sprinter Shanti Pereira on a women's 200 metres title. Audrey Yong with Singapore's first gold in women's windsurfing, and Mark Leong broke the games record in the men's slalom event. Sailing and canoeists had their best SEA Games outings with record medal hauls. And the teams from rhythmic gymnastics, equestrian, wushu and netball also successful here. The hard work's been done, and now it's time to let the hair down. And that is what athletes and spectators alike are doing inside the National Stadium.
Raining balloons here, lasers everywhere. It really is a futuristic looking show. They promised to celebrate the extraordinary at the start of these games, but it has been a dazzling, unforgettable experience for everybody that's been involved. Well, a great spectacle and a uniquely modern Singaporean experience. It's the grand finale, the big final party at the SEA Games 2015.
there's no denying, Rob, that Malaysia has a great deal to live up to. A spectacular opening ceremony, which many thought couldn't be topped. But the party atmosphere that being ushered in at the end of tonight's celebrations ensure that in 2 years' time, Malaysia has to carry on the party.
It's so loud in here, I can hardly hear myself speak.
Well, you know something special's happening when you're being instructed to mind the lasers. But athletes and spectators mingling on the surface down here at the National Stadium indoors.
Yeah, the roof kept on for the majority of these games, ever since the opening ceremony, in fact. You can see the crowd enjoying the music provided by our Dutch DJ today. So what a SEA Games it's been, 2015, a year to remember, as Singapore says goodbye to the 28th Southeast Asian Games.
I declare the Southeast Asian Games closed.
Oh, what an evening, what a games, 12 days, unforgettable, dazzling, and a big celebration of everything extraordinary. We've enjoyed the big Singapore welcome. This has been a time to remember for the rest of everybody's lives. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in throughout the games, from Andy Bobfish, me, Rob Hatch, and the rest of the team. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again in 2 years' time in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur 2017. From Singapore, though, it's goodbye.
Sự kiện trực tiếp đã hết. Xin cảm ơn các bạn.